Hello and good morning to you. Thank you for joining me here on Talkin Really. And a very big welcome to many hundreds of thousands of people. Oh, sorry, not hundreds of thousands, but hundreds of people that have come and subscribed. So thank you for that. We are now nearly 5,100. Yay! Brilliant. Keep it up. Tell your friends. Share it on social media. That would help. Anyway, this story was out a little while ago, 5 days ago, in fact. And it's that Starmer should be ashamed of himself for not providing backup evidence for comments that were made regarding people not working. Yes, well, it's no surprise here. This guy, foot in mouth, as they say. I don't think he had a brain. I think he's just says stuff without any thought whatsoever. Well, there again, he probably does know what he's doing. And there are still people out there who love him. Probably not on this channel though, to be fair. Anyway, we're going to have a look at this story. It's in the Disability News Service, DNS as it's otherwise known, and it is a horrific story. Oh, hello, sorry to interrupt. Just while you're watching this video about Mr. Starmer, two-tier Kia, you might like to consider purchasing some merchandise. That is a t-shirt and a mug with this slogan: rearrange the letters. Available by clicking the link in the description down below. So thank you, and back to the video. A horrific story of not backing up what you're saying with evidence. It's all well and good. People do that on this channel in the comment section. They make claims, but they never provide any evidence of that claim. And the problem is that in life in general, you make a claim, it's up to you, your responsibility to provide backup that you obviously have proof on that. The
Prime Minister has failed to produce any evidence to back up baseless and poisonous claims in a newspaper article that large numbers of young disabled people are pretending they are not fit enough to work. Sir Keir Starmer made the comments in an article for The Times, and it follows multiple similar attacks on young disabled people by other politicians and media commentators from both the right and the left. He suggested in his article that disability benefit fraud was widespread, and he attacked what he described as worklessness as a lifestyle choice, and said Labour would never tolerate voluntary worklessness. His focus was on so-called Gen Z, those currently aged between about 15 and 30, who he said were facing a Britain where there was less breathing space for the joy and self-discovery of youth. But he then wrote, of course, none of this means Gen Z can opt out of the rights and responsibilities we owe to each other, including the scandal of claiming benefits designed to support people with genuine illness or disability. Make no mistake, worklessness as a lifestyle choice goes against the fundamental ethos of the Labour Party as a vehicle for the aspirations of working people. Our reforms to employment rights are a landmark shift in restoring dignity and security at work. We will make work pay, but we will never tolerate voluntary worklessness. But after Disability News Service contacted 10 Downing Street to ask for the evidence behind his claims of a scandal, a government spokesperson was unable to provide any. Mark Harrison, a member of the Reclaiming Our Futures Alliance, ROFA, steering group, said the Prime Minister should be ashamed of himself. He said, rather than pushing unevidenced accusations, he should be working out how to properly fund benefits and public services for disabled people. He said that disability benefits have the lowest rate of fraud, with DWP's own figures showing that fraud by claimants of personal independence payment fell from 0.2% in 2022 to 23 to 0.0% in 2023 to 24. While fraud by disability living allowance claimants was estimated to be just 0.1%. Harrison said, none of this war on disabled people is necessary if Labour went after the real cheats, the tax avoiders and evaders and the billionaires just getting richer by the day just for being rich, while disabled people are labelled and scapegoated for a crisis not of our making. They should be paying their fair share, and Labour should end their phony war on disabled people. Dr. J. Watts, a disabled activist and consultant clinical psychologist, who has played a key role in highlighting the impact of DWP's actions over the last decade, said the Prime Minister's claim that young disabled people were part of a scandal of benefit fraud isn't just baseless, it's a calculated ploy to shift blame onto those already failed by austerity and crumbling public services. She said, the real scandal isn't people needing support, it's a political class refusing to admit that low pay, insecure work, soaring living costs, NHS collapse, and gutted social care have driven more young people into illness. She said this illness had happened not by choice, but because chronic stress and strain wear down the body over time, making disadvantage physically embedded, and when they seek help, NHS waiting lists leave them stranded, turning preventable conditions into chronic ones. She added, disability benefit fraud is statistically negligible, yet rather than address the systemic failures locking young people out of work, Labour peddles the lie that they are choosing not to contribute. This isn't about voluntary worklessness, it's about a government abandoning its duty to ensure young people can live with dignity. Illness thrives in neglect, in shredded safety nets, in a society that punishes vulnerability instead of protecting it. If Labour cared about fairness, it wouldn't scapegoat a generation without evidence, it would ask why so many are struggling and act to change it. The government declined to provide any evidence for Sir Keir's claims. Instead, a government spokesperson said, "We have been clear that the current welfare system needs reform, so it is fair on the taxpayer and people can get the support they need to move into work." Building on our Get Britain Working white paper, we will bring forward proposals for reforming the health and disability benefits system within weeks, and are working closely with disabled people, disability organisations, and people with health conditions so their views and voices are at the heart of our plans. Meanwhile, ROFA and other disabled people's groups and allies have called on disabled people to record video messages explaining how Labour's poisonous rhetoric has impacted them. They highlighted the efforts of the Prime Minister, Chancellor Rachel Reeves and Work and Pensions Secretary Liz Kendall to use the media to spin the lies about disabled people being benefit scroungers and frauds. They said, this poisonous rhetoric is being used, like the Tories did over the last 14 years, to justify attacking our rights and cutting our benefits. Tell us what the impact has been on you and your family and loved ones. As well as ROFA, the campaign is led by groups including Disabled People Against Cuts, the UK-wide coalition of disabled people's organisations monitoring the implementation of the UN Disability Convention, and the Campaign to Save Mental Health Services in Norfolk and Suffolk. Harrison said, this campaign has been initiated because of the trauma caused by the constant pernicious rhetoric from Labour framing disabled people as benefit scroungers and cheats. This is creating mental distress on a massive scale. Labour were elected because people had had enough of austerity and failing public services and demanded change. After 14 years of a Tory war on us, Labour have come to power but have carried on where the Tories left off by adopting their policies and austerity budgets. This would be bad enough, but they have also stepped up the attacks. They refuse to invest in social care and children's and mental health services. They have also adopted the Tory target of saving £3 billion from disabled people's benefits, hence the blaming, scapegoating and gaslighting by Starmer, Reeves and Kendall, reminiscent of Cameron and Osborne 15 years ago.
Right, there you go. That's the story. Of course, I'm pretty certain it's not going to make any difference to him. He really just one of many of politicians who really don't give a shit about anybody. But for now, thank you for watching, and I will see you very soon. Bye for now.